We'll take roll call, please.
Joe Plankis,
Here.
John Dart,
Here.
Brian Toma-Michael is absent, Larry Kemper,
Here.
Steve Latour,
Here.
and Carrie Larison is absent.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. First order of business is Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Next order of business, do we have any changes to agenda, Janelle?
We do not.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one, which is the minutes from the August 18th meeting. Are there any questions or changes in regards to the meeting minutes from last meeting?
No, I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Steve Latour and second by John Dart. Please take the roll.
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next step is the approval of the executive session meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments on that? If not, I'm open for motion for approval.
Motion to approve the executive session memorandum from August 18th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Larry Kemper, thank you. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Gratial?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is clerk treasurer's reports. Are there any questions or comments in regards to the reports that Marla has provided? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next topic, which is approval of claims. Any questions or comments on claims? If not, I'm open for approval. Motion
I'll make
for
a
approval.
motion to approve claims as of September 15th.
Okay, motion by Steve Latour. Do I have a second?
Second.
Larry Kemper, second. Rachel, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Janelle, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to do a similar presentation to what I did for City Council last week, just to bring all the rest of you up to speed as well on what's been happening in the Economic Development Department and redevelopment. So we here in the, I guess, second and third quarter of the year, we've had a couple of headquarters announcements, one being ECR, Ed Carpenter Racing, of course, coming to the Grand Park campus, and then Beacon, which will be located in the North Point Industrial Complex. We also have a couple of land acquisitions. The wood parcel at Grand Park we closed on over the summer. This is about 17 acres at the northwest corner of Grand Park Boulevard and 186th Street. And we are also leasing in the downtown a new temporary parking lot at the northeast corner of Park and Poplar intersection. This is currently a vacant lot, and there are two older homes, which I understand are being demoed this week by Public Works so that we can have a new gravel lot in the downtown to replace the existing one on the site of the Park and Poplar project. We had a groundbreaking in August, Ambrose on Main project at East and State Road 32. And we've worked through the approval processes on a handful of redevelopment projects, including Park and Poplar, the Jersey 32 project, which is now rebranded as the Grand on Main, and Grand Millennium Center, which is on the it's at US 31, and just north of 169th Street or south of State Road 32. And then also the Woodwind East project, which is the Old Town residential project at the Woodwind Golf Course. We have finalized in 2025 the Grand Park Master Plan back in April. We've been working through the comp plan map and other planning processes with the planning department and engineering and then also doing the similar exercise in the downtown plan. Both of those should be wrapping up towards the end of 2025. Those are both led by the Community Development Department. Few marketing updates. We launched a new website over the summer, westfieldecdev.com. This went live just before the Live Golf Tournament. We really wanted to make sure that we had the new face of the Economic Development Department out there before we had this international event happening here in Westfield. We've also launched a Westfield Economic Development page on LinkedIn. Just starting to get that one up to speed, starting to do some small business spotlights, information about our headquarters announcements, Grand Park updates, and the like. Some media updates. We had a really nice feature from Site Selector magazine. I had met the editor of Site Selector magazine at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress that was held here in Indianapolis over the summer, and they had never heard of Westfield before. Thought that maybe they would do a paragraph or so about Westfield on their rural sports complexes feature, and then after learning more about Grand Park, decided we needed our own article. So they did a really, really nice feature, and maybe more importantly, they now know about Westfield, and I do hope to get more exposure from that publication in the future. They do a great job of highlighting Noblesville, Fishers, and Carmel, so they're very familiar with Hamilton County, and super excited to see us featured again in the future someday. We also had a nice TV feature by WRTV, which was at the Ambrose on Main groundbreaking. We also have talked about Make My Move and Live Golf. And then more recently, this was just on Thursday or Friday of last week, Fox 59 did a feature on what does 2035 look like for Westfield. So if you haven't had a chance to see that yet, take a look for it. I'm also going to be posting links to that on our LinkedIn page if it's not there already.
I saw that piece. You and Scott really look good for good old Westfield, for sure.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, and then we're also working on the art RFQ for the Underground Railroad sculptural exhibit that we're planning for the Jersey 32 project. We had an RFQ that went live right around Labor Day. We had a press release about that the Tuesday after Labor Day, and from what I'm hearing, we are gaining quite a bit of national attention from artists who are interested in proposing. So we have about 1 week until proposals are due, and we're really looking forward to seeing what kind of opportunities we might have to have an artist collaboration with this important part of Westfield's history. We've also had some small business support, including the Indigo bus pop-up shops. This is an old Indigo bus that's been converted into a shop. It's master leased by Pattern and located right at Grand Junction. And we have a small business currently located there and looking to roll that over to some additional vendors here to give opportunities for small businesses to be introduced into the Westfield economy. We also sponsored 4 creative economy business booths for the Westfield Chamber Showcase and Taste event coming up next week. It'll be held at Grand Park. This was done in support of a group called Westfield Creative Collective. They meet monthly, and they have a growing group of artists that are within the Westfield community. Most of them are Westfield residents who are building businesses in various creative fields. The 4 that we selected here have a broad spectrum of types of business. Our Wing Creative does a lot of marketing and branding work, so more on the technology and PR marketing side. Waldy's Artesian Bakery. They make cookies. You guys may have seen them at some events in the past. They're quite delicious. They don't have a physical storefront yet. We're hoping that maybe someday they'll locate a bakery in our downtown. Indie Taco does operate out of a food truck. They do not have a brick and mortar location yet. And Jilly Jack Designs is a graphic arts company that does more like illustrative graphic arts. So great to give an opportunity for these businesses to showcase their work at this event. It's a fairly small investment for the city to give a little bit of exposure to a company, and then also, possibly more importantly, for us to collect information about businesses that might be interested in expanding as brick and mortar stores in the future, so that we can help them find locations when they are ready for that starting point home or forever home. Some events that were hosted recently include the Live Golf Individual Championships at Chatham Hills. Colts Camp Mayor's Suite, our department hosted 4 separate Colts Camp practices. I attended a couple more that were hosted by other departments, and just a really great opportunity to get out into the world, see people in Westfield who are having a great time, host businesses who are already located here or might be interested in locating here, so that we can really highlight one of the assets that we have here in Westfield. And then, of course, the Westfield Creative Collective. I attended their programming in September to kick off the announcement of this support for the small businesses for the showcase and taste. And then we're also starting to work with them on just understanding what their members would be looking for art studios and places to sell their products. Some downtown updates. Here's a fairly recent aerial shot of downtown overlooking Grand Junction and Union Square. Union Square is not quite finished in that image, but it's getting fairly close. It is open. There are a handful of businesses open there in the south side of Union Square. There's Everbowl, Spark Coffee, Pure Bar. There's a Lake City located there. And then the residents have started to lease up. Old Town is happy with the rate at which they're leasing, so looking forward to that being fully leased here over the next year or so, but they are slow and steady, which is probably right where they want to be right now. The garage is officially open, while our parking ordinance still needs another week before it's going to be reviewed and hopefully approved in its final form. We are accepting opportunities for people to come and park in the parking garage at this point. And then Sun King, located there on the right, is making a lot of progress. It should be opening late spring. And H Steakhouse here in the distance you can see is coming along well. Some additional highlights here of Union Square, and we had ribbon cuttings of a few Pure Bar, Spark Coffee, and Everbowl. A closer up view of H Steakhouse. And then the Ambrose on Main project, which had its groundbreaking in August. This is at East and State Road 32. And a few Grand Park updates. So we recently issued a request for qualifications for the first infrastructure work that would be completed in Grand Park on the north side of 186th Street. And this will be the second major investment underneath the Grand Park bond, which was approved previously this year. So that bond, which was a max value of $40 million, included the purchase of the wood parcel, which we closed on this summer. That includes this area right here. And then it also includes the construction of a municipal parking garage, which is generally located on this parcel. The configuration will be different than what is shown in this master plan, but I can get my cursor back. It'll be here on the east side of that parcel along Grand Park Boulevard. And as part of that relocation, the existing D1 baseball diamond, which is located on that site, will be relocated to 186th Street and Grand Park Boulevard at the northeast corner. There will be an expansion of parking lot area in that vicinity to support the baseball and replace some of the parking that is existing up in the northern area of Grand Park. And it'll also include some updates to detention and streets around the perimeter of this lot. We also have, just off the screen here, a new lot that is under contract. It's just along 191st Street, and that would be converted to some surface parking to replace some of the parking in Lot C that will disappear. It's a high-level overview again of what the Grand Park District looks like. And then a little highlight on what's happening here on the south side of 186th Street. This land will be purchased in October, and it is part of the bond that you'll be hearing again today, introduced by Dustin Meeks. Here is one of our action items. And this would be the home of our future ice facility. And as I mentioned last month, we do have a short list for this. We have Loth Sports Facilities and Nicholas and Associates all working on proposals for that ice facility. And that is everything, unless you guys have any questions.
Okay, any questions for Janelle on her report? Very good. That was very informative and a good update. Appreciate that. We have no old business, so we will go on to new business. The first action item we have is resolution number 39-2025, a resolution of the City of Westfield Redevelopment Commission regarding acceptance of grant from Common Council. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution is authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the City Council. As part of the 2025 budget, there was money that was appropriated into the city's capital fund that was allocated to the redevelopment department, which is generally controlled by the Redevelopment Commission, but because it was part of the general fund budget, needed to be approved. Any spending or grants from that fund need to be approved by the City Council. So the City Council has approved a grant to the RDC so that the RDC can take action as originally intended in the budget to provide funding to support the Park and Poplar parking garage as well as the Jersey Street parking garage. So the total amount between those two projects that would be granted would be $13 million, and the breakdown of that is approximately $4.5 million going to the Park and Poplar project to supplement the bond and the ready grant that we expect to have on that project, as well as about $8.5 million for the Jersey 32 parking garage. Happy to answer any questions that you have about the grant.
Okay, any questions for Janelle on what she's presented? Okay, seeing none, I'm open for a motion for approval.
I'll move to approve Resolution 25-144.
Okay, thank you, Steve Latour. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John Dart. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Rachel?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item we have is a 2025 RDC spending plan, which has been modified or amended. Janelle?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And I might have Oscar come up here for a moment just to talk about why we update the spending plan and what we do with it once it's updated, because this is the first year that it's been required for the Redevelopment Commission to create a spending plan on a certain schedule and upload it to DLGF. And then we have requirements to update it as the spending plan gets updated throughout the year.
Right.
So I'll let you cover that at a high level, if you will.
Thank you for the record, Oscar Gutierrez, Boundary Consulting, Municipal Advisors to the RDC. The document you have in front of you is something we presented to you at the latter part of last year, which was the first year this was a requirement from the state. There are many different forms by municipalities that are taking this, but we wanted to create a document that was useful for you, that was almost closer to your budget in a cash flow perspective than just checking a box. And what this does ultimately is it allocates all the TIF dollars coming into each allocation area and the dollars that are planned to be spent monthly or for the year, I should say. We actually have it broken down by month so that we have a cash flow projections, but not necessarily on this version. The modification that we had was we moved money to allot for Woodwind in the amount of $1.5 million. And that was just taken out from subsequent TIFs that were in the area and the cash balance, I believe. I don't have the exact breakdown on me.
The 1.5 million all came from the 146th Street TIF.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But that is the main change. So we are able to modify changes throughout the year for this, and it was simply taking money from one bucket to the next. It is not like an appropriation, which is just mainly to inform the state how dollars are being spent, so that the public can see how the dollars are being spent. And I think Janelle bringing this forward and utilizing the document is the most transparent I've seen any client or anybody really do. So that was the purpose for that.
The other major change to this is that we did bring the $13 million grant into the RDC capital.
Oh, yes, that is.
Yeah, that was the biggest changes, so that you
Well,
can
money
see
coming
it.
in also.
Yes.
I was
Right,
focusing
on
on
the
money
revenue
going out,
side.
not money in, but money in is also good. Actually, it's probably better.
Now, from a process standpoint, is this posted where on the city website for public information?
I think it was just having a public meeting. This actually
So
goes.
it's a link on our agenda, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a internal document that gets sent to the state, and then nothing happens after that. So, again, Janelle's utilizing a document to be transparent and keep you informed and keep the public informed.
So do you take care of the changes in Oscar that are necessary to send to the DLGF as
Yeah,
a change?
we just send it to, again, it is not like an appropriation, it's simply just.
Right.
This is.
It's an information document, basically, for them.
Pretty much.
Okay,
No penalties, no anything.
right. Okay, any questions for Oscar or Janelle from commission members? Okay, and do we require a vote on this one then, Janelle?
I think
Ryan?
since we're going to send it to the state, I would just ask for it just to, because we're going to submit it to the state as well.
Basically approve it for sending to the state.
We voted on it in November, the original spending plan.
So
Thank
this
you,
needs
Rachel.
An amendment.
Okay, so really what we need is a motion for approval of the amendment to be provided to the DLGF.
Perfect.
And I will state that as a motion. Do I have a second? Second from John Dart.
Second?
Joe
Okay,
Plankus?
thank you. Joe Plankus, motion for approval of the amendment. John Dart, second. Rachel?
Joe Plankus?
Aye.
John Dart?
Aye.
Larry Kemper?
Aye.
Steve Latour?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Grand Park Infrastructure Memo Presentation. Janelle?
Could I make a request that we move this to the end because
Okay,
it
that's
is not
fine.
attached, and I'm going to have to bring this up on my other computer?
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Fine, we'll move that to the end. Next item then is action item number 3, Resolution 40-2025, a resolution of the City of Westfield Redevelopment Commission regarding grant for land acquisition. Okay, Janelle?
This one is associated with the grant of proceeds that came from the previously approved $40 million grant to purchase land and to do the garage construction at Grand Park. We are going to be purchasing 613 East 191st Street for the purposes of building future parking. And with that, we need to move some additional funding over to the, we're going to grant the money to the Downtown Westfield CDC so that they can purchase that land. So this is a tri-party agreement that is including the City Council, the Redevelopment Commission, and the Downtown Westfield CDC to authorize that purchase.
And this is the 2 acres that's just west of ProX, basically.
Yes,
North of
it
ProX,
is.
northwest of ProX. Okay. Any questions for Janelle on this item? We've discussed it earlier this evening. I'm open for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Okay, John Dart, motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry, Larry Kemper, actually. Sorry about that. Do I have a second? Second. John Dart, second. Rachel?
Joe Plankus?
Aye.
John Dart?
Aye.
Larry Kemper?
Aye.
Steve Latour?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is action item number 4, JS Held Contract Amendment, Grand Park Project Management Services. Janelle?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. This is an amendment to an existing contract that we have with JS Held. They have been assisting us in 2025 already with some project management and owner's rep services associated with the build-out of the Grand Park development. including the northern half of the development north of 186th Street, particularly surrounding the ECR garage, as well as work associated with the ICE facility. We are hitting the end of the budget that we had established for this, and so in order to extend their contract, and we're actually extending this through the end of 2026 because we know these projects will be continuing through the end of the next calendar year, we are asking for an amendment to this agreement, again, through the end of 2026. This is on an hourly basis, and we have the rates of the people who would be working on the projects listed here. Happy to go over any questions that you might have.
Okay, any questions from commission members? Okay, seeing none, open for a motion for approval of the contract amendment.
Motion to approve the JS Held contract amendment.
Okay, John Dart, thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Larry Kemper. Motion for approval. Rachel?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item is the JS Held contract for other project management services. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a new contract with the same company. The reason this is a new one instead of an amendment to the previous contract is that the original contract was specific to projects at Grand Park, and City Legal wanted to have us execute a new contract because this would be for work outside of Grand Park. This also allowed us to include some updated language that our legal department likes to have in contracts. So we've included that here as well. Very similar to the previous project, we have an hourly agreement. We have hourly rates that are included. An estimated number of hours per week for 2025 and 2026, total maximum fee of $151,408. And similar, we have their staff listed here with their hourly rate. Happy to go over any questions that you have about the scope. From a project standpoint, we currently anticipate that they will be helping with the Park Street project, which is the streetscape improvement project. There will also be work at Jersey Street, which is collaboration between the Jersey 32 project and the streetscape project, which will likely be led by Public Works since it is a street. And then the new property that we're looking at 180-160 Market Court, which we would be considering modifying to an incubator space or startup space.
Okay, any other questions from Janelle, from commission members?
Just for clarification, so on this agreement, if you go down to the 10th page, this agreement shows the 2025, keep going down, the 2025 rate, and then 2026, the last agreement that we just looked at, just had the 2026 rate on it. So I'm assuming they're identical?
The previous contract, because it was an amendment, the 2025 rate was already in the original agreement, so it would be the same as this one here.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion for approval?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, Steve Latour, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John Dart. Rachel?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next one is the amending resolution 36-25. Janelle?
We are going to have Dustin present this one. Dustin Meeks with Barnes and Thornburg.
Good evening, Commissioners. Dustin Meeks from Barnes and Thornburg. This resolution is identical for the Redevelopment Commission as the resolution that was considered by the Redevelopment Authority. But for the benefit of folks who are watching the recording, what this resolution approves is an increase in the maximum authorized par amount of the Redevelopment Authority's bonds from $33,345,000 to $35 million. And the reason for the increase in the maximum par amount of the bonds is that the property that is to be acquired using the bond proceeds, after the bonds were approved and the surveying of that property was completed, it was larger than originally anticipated. And so there's a need to increase the max par to ensure that there's adequate cushion in your maximum par to allow for possible changes to interest rates while accommodating that there is more property to acquire than originally anticipated. What is not changed is the lease rental schedule for the lease that the Redevelopment Commission will enter into with the Redevelopment Authority. So in terms of what is going to be paid every 6 months, that doesn't change. It's just the maximum amount of bonds that are authorized.
Okay. Any questions from commission members for Justin or Janelle? If not, I'll open for approval of Resolution 41-2025.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Larry Kemper, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Dart, seconded. Rachel?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item is Resolution 42-2025, a resolution of the City of Westfield Redevelopment Commission regarding Grand Park Master Development Agreement. Janelle?
At long last, we have a master development agreement with Keystone for the Grand Park North area. Jen Pavlik is here if you guys have any questions after I kind of go briefly through what we've agreed to with this development agreement. But really excited to finally have this ready to move forward, and we have identified how we're all working together and what the timeline is for the development plan, and then really what our steps forward are to execute individual development agreements for individual projects. So as you all know, there was an agreement that was executed between Grand Park Sports and Entertainment and the City of Westfield for the operations of Grand Park. And in the proposal that was provided by GPSE, Grand Park Sports and Entertainment, there was a concept of developing a district at Grand Park that would be a mixed-use district. And we developed a master plan, which we started on last July. We had a lot of stakeholders within the community, including Keystone as the developers. We had Henke's, who were brokers for a portion of the land and owners of some of the land. Craig Wood was a part of this as well as one of the landowners. We brought in Hamilton County Tourism, and they in fact paid for a majority of the study. And then just a handful of other developers, neighbors, and city staff that really put together this vision holistically. So as we move forward, Keystone will be using that master plan that was developed by Spec Dempsey and Perkins and Will as the framework to deliver a development plan north of 186th Street. They'll have that development plan put together for us here by the end of 2026 so that we have a better idea of what the timeline will be for delivery of specific projects. Specifically, the first two projects are anticipated to be on the site of the existing Lot C, which is the main parking lot at Grand Park Event Center. Really envisioning those to be mixed-use development with housing, retail, parking garages. Parking garages will be oversized for those specific uses because we are having to overcome a deficit of parking once we have to replace the existing surface parking. We'll have more information on the estimated costs, the number of square footage and types of development that will be built, and architecture. Got engineering that has to be figured out, a lot of things that are going to be anticipated here over the next few months to get that first development project moving forward. So again, as we move forward then from the development plan, we will have individual projects that come to you with specific incentives on a project-by-project basis. This initial master development agreement more holistically identifies the way we are all working together and that we will be providing incentives, but again, the individual incentives will be determined on a case-by-case basis as we move forward. Happy to answer any questions that you have about the structure, and of course, John Pavlik here from Keystone could answer from their perspective as well.
Jen, is there anything you'd like to add? Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I think Janelle mostly covered it. Just excited to finally be at a point. The development plan is underway. The surveys and all the things that need to go into this are well underway, and we're just excited to get moving.
We are also.
Couple of questions. One for you, Janelle. Thank you for forwarding the document to the city council. Has anyone come back with questions?
I have not seen any questions.
Okay, I haven't either. I wasn't copied on anything, but glad that this got in their hands because the GPSE agreement was approved obviously by the council, and this developer agreement was not attached at the time. It just was in progress. So as much time as we had spent on the council working through that GPSE agreement, I wanted to make sure that they saw this. So Janelle forwarded it, but I didn't know if there were any questions.
I've got nothing either, John,
Yeah.
from anybody.
Yeah,
So,
so that's good. I mean,
yeah.
the second question is, I guess it's back to Janelle. So you said there will be, this team will be considering incentives, but will each project, each thing that's going to be built, each building that's going to be built, go back through the council? Or does this agreement kind of give a umbrella to say that the overall plan is approved so they can go ahead and build? What's
Anytime there is the bond that has to be approved for funding of these projects, they will go back through city council. So if nothing else, there will be an approval at some level for bonds.
Which will,
So-
but, yeah, and likely a bond won't be approved until the council and/or the RDC sees the details of the project, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm. From a zoning perspective, much of what is being prepared for the Grand Park area is already covered under existing zoning. So, for example, the ECR building that will be developed by Ed Carpenter Racing, the parking garage that are part of the first infrastructure project, which is separate from this development, those are all approved uses that can be built without any further zoning approvals because they're just part of the use at Grand Park. As we move forward with mixed-use developments, we're working with community development to come up with more information that would be built into a place type so that we can approve this, the overall plan holistically rather than having to approve each project on an incremental basis because we want to make sure that the overall development is cohesive.
Okay, any other questions for Janelle or Jen? Well, we're looking forward to it. So we will now have a motion, hopefully, for approval of Resolution 42-2025.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
Okay, Steve Latour, second.
Second.
Larry Kemper, thank you very much. Rachel?
Joe Plankus,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Ready to roll. Let's rock 'em. Okay, back to the Grand Park Infrastructure memo presentation.
Yes,
Janelle?
thank you. My apologies for not having that up earlier, and I will be sure that I send all of this to you after the meeting so that you have a copy of it. So this is a presentation of the Grand Park Infrastructure memo prepared by Adam Collins, one of Ryan's partners at Wallach Summers and Haas. I'm trying to use a mouse for the wrong computer. Just a moment. All right, so this is a memorandum from to the City of Westfield Redevelopment Commission from the City of Westfield Department of Economic Development regarding the recommendation of the Evaluation Committee for selection of preferred offerer and private partner for a BOT project. So the background of this project, per Indiana Code 523, the BOT statute, municipalities are permitted to solicit requests for qualifications and proposals from private entities for the design, construction, financing, operation, and maintenance of public projects. The City of Westfield has previously approved a resolution adopting Indiana Code 523, authorizing the city, including its subsidiaries and affiliates, including but not limited to the Westfield Redevelopment Commission, or the RDC, to enter into public-private agreements for the development of public projects pursuant to the BOT statute. By this authorizing resolution, the RDC is authorized to procure public projects via the Build, Operate, Transfer, BOT, delivery method, in addition to more traditional delivery methods such as design bid build, or various construction manager methods. The city and the RDC have an established need for public infrastructure to be constructed on the Grand Park site to benefit the development of private and public projects on such site, the project. After an analysis of various available delivery methods, the city determined that the BOT delivery method was most likely to cause the project to be completed in a cost-effective and timely manner. Procurement process. Prior to initiating the process to procure the project, the RDC engaged a team of consultants to provide technical assistance to the RDC as it developed the requirements for the project. The RDC engaged J.S. Held to provide owner's technical representative services and Wallach Summers and Haas, PC, to provide legal services. The RDC and its consultant team worked closely with the applicable stakeholders to develop the initial programming, design, and bridging documents necessary to obtain substantive proposals from the development community. On August 1st, 2025, after issuing statutorily required notice, the RDC issued a request for proposals and qualifications to design, build, operate, and maintain the Grand Park parking garage, D1 field relocation, and Grand Park North area infrastructure improvements, the BOT RFPQ. A copy of the BOT RFPQ is attached to the memorandum, which I'll distribute. The RDC held an informational meeting on August 12th, 2025 for prospective offerers, during which industry participants were provided the opportunity to ask questions regarding specific elements of the BOT RFPQ. Potential offerers were required to submit written and electronic copies of their proposal to the BOT RFPQ at the RDC's office no later than September 5th, 2025. Proposals were received from the following offerers: Hagerman Incorporated, Keystone Group, and Thieneman Commercial Construction. An initial review of the 3 submitted proposals by the Evaluation Committee and its technical consultants determined that the proposals were substantially compliant with the BOT RFPQ requirements. Redacted versions of the proposals are available for public review in the Economic Development Office. All 3 compliant proposals were subsequently reviewed by the RDC's Evaluation Committee. The Evaluation Committee included Janelle Fairman, Jonathan Nail, and Christopher McConnell. Jonathan Nail is the Director of Public Works, and Chris McConnell is the Director of Parks. The RDC's technical consultants were not voting members of the Evaluation Committee, but provided technical input and assistance to the Evaluation Committee as needed. September 12, 2025, the Evaluation Committee met to discuss the proposals and to identify a preferred offerer. The Evaluation Committee recommendation. Upon review of the revised proposals, upon review of the proposals and submitted information, and in addition to discussion among the Evaluation Committee and the technical consultants, the Evaluation Committee unanimously approved a motion to select Keystone as the preferred offerer. The basis for Keystone's selection was based on a variety of factors, including the following: its experience in developing, constructing, operating, and maintaining projects similar to the project, including BOT projects. Its approach to the project was a developer-based, owner-focused approach that emphasized agility in design, construction methods, and construction schedule. It has experience in participating in public-private partnerships similar to the proposed for the project. It demonstrated that it had the ability and capacity to perform the work required by the project in a cost-effective and timely manner. Its submission of the RFPQ was responsive and complete. It had the financial ability and operational capacity to design, construct, operate, and maintain the project. Its proposal included key personnel with significant professional experience that will benefit the development of the project. It references submitted with the RFPQ were reviewed positively, and its fee schedule was cost-effective. The recommendation of the evaluation committee was based on the submitted proposals, discussions with the offerers during the interviews, information provided by the offerers' responses, and information and recommendations offered by technical consultants. Approval processes. Pursuant to the BOT statute, the evaluation committee's recommendation must be approved by a board prior to the RDC executing a public-private agreement, PPA, with Keystone. Upon a public hearing and approval by the RDC may proceed with Keystone as the private partner for the development of the project according to the BOT statute. The RDC is requesting that the following public hearing to be conducted at the next regular meeting of the RDC, that the commissioners approve the evaluation committee's selection of Keystone as the preferred offerer and authorize the executive director of the RDC to negotiate and execute the PPA. No further approvals will be required by the RDC. Prior to approving the guaranteed maximum price, the GMP, pursuant to the PPA, the RDC will submit the final GMP to the RDC for its review and approval. So again, I will send this memo to all of you with the referenced attachment. There's nothing to vote on today. This is just to notify you of the recommendation from the selection committee and to let you know that at the next scheduled meeting in October, we will do a public notice prior and hold a public hearing and request your approval of the authorization then.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions you have. I know that was a very long memo,
Yeah.
and I apologize it wasn't attached. I'm glad you don't have action on it tonight.
Could you go back to the first sentence? No, just kidding. So the committee selected Keystone Development for the garage?
This is for the infrastructure for the Grand Park North area. So the first phase of this will be the garage itself and the associated infrastructure surrounding it. This will include the relocation of the D1 Diamond and the building of the garage and the streets and drainage surrounding the garage.
Because you said there were 3 projects, those are the 3? Or are there 2 other structures that Keystone was also qualified for?
That is, so that is under the separate agreement that will be the master development agreement for individual parcels for them to build buildings on.
So the only thing that this memo or memorandum discusses and will need to be approved in the next meeting is the garage, the infrastructure, and the drainage.
Yes, this is for infrastructure north of 186th Street. This is not for any buildings other than the parking garage. Everything else is infrastructure.
Got it.
Engineering, utilities, relocation of a diamond, canals, landscaping. The reason that I invited John Nail and Christopher McConnell to join me in the evaluation committee is that a large, most of the infrastructure that is here will be directly related to the work of their departments, whether it be streets or drainage, under the purview of John Nail, or parks. We do have that linear park down the center of the development, and then there are other landscaping elements throughout the development, and I really wanted to make sure that Chris had the opportunity to be a part of this.
How does GPSE get involved in this, seeing that it's where you're moving a diamond?
Yeah, so GPSE has all the rights that were granted to them within the PPA that was executed for the operation of Grand Park. They do have rights to review anything that impacts the operations of their park. So specific items that I know that they're looking for, in addition to the relocation of D1, is their ability to move their equipment from one side of the park to the other, for example. So as they're moving equipment across Grand Park Boulevard, there's the tunnel that runs underneath Grand Park Boulevard, and they take their service vehicles underneath to get things from the fields to the diamonds. They want to make sure that that is still possible. They want to make sure that they can safely coordinate carpool drop-offs and pickups at the event center. They want to make sure that they have access to parking for the people that are visiting the park, whether it be for tournaments or for events at the event center. So those really critical interactions between the development and GPSE will be governed by that GPSE agreement.
Okay, so they've provided input already, and are on board?
They have provided input on the master plan, and they will, yes, they're on board, and they'll continue to provide feedback as we move forward with individual improvements.
So they're really an integral part, obviously, of the process.
They are very integral.
Okay, any other questions for Janelle? If not, we will carry this over to the next meeting. I'm sure you guys will take care of the legal notices and the like that we need to have in the papers. So, any other items for business tonight?
None for me.
Okay, our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 20th at 6 PM. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, second?
Second.
Motion second. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a busy schedule, Steve.
Now comes the signing party.
Here, than we probably did in 1 year with that functional council that we had.
I believe it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I can figure out which ones I don't need to sign.